I began recording my sleep to document my sleep talking. Last night, something spoke back. I'm a chronic sleep talker. Even since childhood, I've been known to have conversations in my sleep that can either scare you senseless or make you piss yourself laughing. My little brother was the first to notice. We shared a room in our early years, and the poor guy just so happened to be on the receiving end on some of my scarier episodes. He woke up one night to find me sitting on the edge of my bed, begging for them not to hurt me. He told me he watched me sit there for at least 20 minutes, sobbing while I slept. That wasn't the part that scared him, though. No, the part that scared him was the screaming. No words, just his older brother's violent shouts that pierced through the darkness and reverberated off of the wooden walls. He told me it didn't stop until my parents came in and shook me awake. I had no memory of the incident, but the whole ordeal led to my brother opting to sleep on the couch for a long while. I can't say I blamed him. I mean, I'd probably be traumatized too if I had to witness something like that at such a young age. Time went on, and as I grew into my teenage years, those screaming incidents became more and more frequent. They always ended with my parents barging into my room and shaking me awake, with terrified and concerned looks on their faces. I had my own room at this point, but I'd still managed to wake up the entire households with my talking and screaming on multiple occasions. I ended up being put on clonazepam in my later teenage years after the sleep talking and night terrors became too much for everyone involved. It's a drug prescribed to people with sleeping disorders, and it really did help with all my late night escapades. That's the thing, though. I can't say I remember any of those incidents. The proof was there, sure, but no matter how hard I tried, I just could not recall what it was that had me so riled up in my sleep. Regardless, I took the medication and the incidents ceased. We were all finally able to get a good night's sleep, and I could feel the tension of bedtime let up a bit. I moved away from home at 20 and got an apartment in the city a few blocks away from my college campus. I lived alone and didn't want to have a roommate, so I picked up a lot of extra shifts at one of the local pizza parlors. With money tight, I decided not to get insurance benefits from my job. America, am I right? The land of the free and home of ever-increasing rent prices. That being said, when the insurance lapsed and I was no longer able to get refills on my clonazepam, I chose to start recording myself sleeping just to see if I still struggled with those adolescent night terrors. I set the camera up on my nightstand, facing directly towards my bed. I'd hit the record button every night and skim through the results the next day. For the first week or so, I didn't notice anything abnormal. Maybe some light tossing and turning, but nothing to really bat an eye at. However, at around day 9 or 10, things began to take a turn. I noticed that I was turning wildly in my bed, flopping around like a fish out of water. It looked like I was awake, throwing myself around, frustratedly, though I knew for a fact that I'd slept through the night. My eyes never opened once. On day 11, the talking came back. It was garbled at first, just a jumbled mess of words that didn't make any sense. However, as the night progressed, the words began to string together. "I can't do it again," I cried clear as day. "Please don't make me do it again." I began to shake my head viciously back and forth. I looked possessed, like I was shaking thoughts from my brain. Suddenly the shaking ceases and I began to scream. Repeatedly, I'd run out of breath and begin screaming again. It was loud enough to make me recoil from my phone screen as I threw it to my bed. The screaming stopped, and ever so slowly I reached down to pick my phone back up and found that I was now silent and still. I stared at the screen, horrified. It was at this moment that I decided that I was definitely due what I had to do to get my medication back. It was a process, but eventually I worked up to a higher paying position at the pizza parlor and was finally able to actually afford my insurance. While I waited for the card to come in the mail, I continued to record myself. The sleep talking continued, as well as the night terrors and screaming, but as always, I could never remember what set me off into such a state. Last night, the final night before my insurance card was set to arrive, I caught something that has me praying that that card gets here on time. At first, it seemed like it'd be a quiet night. No talking, no fumbling around in bed, just light, rhythmic breathing. However, at around 4 in the morning, that breathing became sporadic. It looked like I was gasping for air as I clawed at my neck and chest. Crying loudly, suddenly everything became still, and I shot upright in bed, my eyes still welded closed with streams of tears leaking from beneath my clamped eyelids. I muttered 5 words through my sobs. "Why are you doing this?" And from the darkness on the opposite side of my bed came a voice so evil, so demonic, so foreign, that it made my heart fall to my stomach as I felt the air leave my lungs. "You know why?" it growled. As soon as the last word escaped the lips of the invisible thing, I let out the loudest scream that I had recorded yet. I began kicking and flailing, screeching like a lunatic before being seemingly shoved back down to my pillow. There were no more disturbances after that. I know because I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I couldn't even find it in myself to skim through the footage. I watched as the sun began to peek through my curtain, waking me from my slumber, and that's when I grabbed my phone and ended the video. I have no idea what I've done to deserve this. I have no idea why this is the nightmare that I'm plagued with. But more importantly, I have no idea what that nightmare even is. All I know is that that insurance card better arrive on time.